Alright, so now what we will gonna do, we will see that how we can use MobSF, how we can use MobSF to perform dynamic analysis of Android application. That is our topic. Okay, but before proceeding, let me quickly install one of the vulnerable application, which is AllSafe. I have couple of application pre-installed in the emulator, but still for the demonstration purpose I'm gonna install this one as well. Okay, so I have this AllSafe application over here, then I have Insecure Bank and Insecure Shop, and a couple of more such as this REVER. This one is also a vulnerable app, but I'm not going to use that for the moment. So there are a couple of things which we have to keep in mind while performing dynamic analysis using MobSF. Number one, we will need Genymotion emulator. Okay, as you can see, I already have created one emulator, which is the custom phone basically. Okay, you can use anyone. I mean, once you click on this plus button, you will get a lot of options, such as you can create a custom phone, you can create Google Nexus, HTC, Motorola, Samsung, Pixels and whatnot. Okay, so you can choose any mobile phone name in order to create your emulator, but make sure that the Android API version should be 30, or else I should say, or Android version should equals to 11, because MobSF currently supports Android version 11 for the moment. Okay, so I have already started the emulator. Let's quickly start our let's quickly start our MobSF. So for that, what we have to do, we have to run this simple command. I already have all the necessary files available over here. I did the installation step, and once my installation setup has been done, what I have to do, I'll have to simply run this run.sh bash file. For that, I'm going to use sudo bash run.sh, and I'm going to have to provide my password. Is now accessible on this particular URL. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my browser. For the moment I'm using Safari, and I'll have to enter this localhost and port number, I guess 8000, correct? Port number 8000. So yeah, I am prompted with the MobSF login page, and if you see on this terminal, we do get the default credential, which is MobSF, and MobSF as username and password. Let's enter that, MobSF and MobSF. So now I don't have to perform static analysis for this demonstration. I want to perform dynamic analysis. So for that, what I have to do, I have to simply click on this dynamic analyzer tab. Okay, once we click on the dynamic analyzer, we will be redirected to a page which will show me two options. The first one is the Android dynamic analyzer, and second one is iOS dynamic analyzer. Okay, so for Android, I have already stated that we must require Genymotion as well as the Android API level, or Android version should be this 30, or Android version should be 11. But for iOS, suppose I go ahead and click on this iOS dynamic analyzer, I will be asked to enter the Corellium API key. What exactly is this Corellium? So Corellium is nothing but online iOS emulator, and it is not free, to be honest. And once we have purchased that Corellium, then we will be shown, we will have the Corellium API key, and once we get that API key, we can configure it in our MobSF to perform the iOS dynamic analysis. But for the moment, I'm gonna again stick with Android dynamic analyzer. So I'm gonna click over here, let's wait. And yeah, if you can see over here, MobSF dynamic analysis supports Genymotion Android VM from version 4.1 to Android version 11. Only this much Android version currently MobSF is supporting as of now. Okay, so, and yeah, if you can see over here for detected Android version, so currently my this VM, if I go ahead and show you guys the Android version, it should be Android 11. So MobSF has correctly detected it, and that's why I am seeing this thing over here. Correct. Now once I scroll down, I will see couple of options such as apps in device. This basically indicates that the third party applications which I have installed in my emulator, which are Insecure Bank, then Reverse Me, Insecure Shop, and AllSafe, which I recently installed couple of minutes ago. Correct. And previously I have already performed the dynamic analysis of Insecure Bank, that's why I can see this option over here, only one entry, because I have only performed dynamic analysis on this application earlier on. The rest applications are remaining. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna simply again click on, not again, let's do one thing, let's proceed with this InfoSec Adventures AllSafe. So basically let's proceed with this AllSafe application. But before, I repeat, before I go ahead and click on this dynamic analysis button, what I have to do, I have to click on I have to click on this button which says MobSFy, MobSFy Android Runtime. I don't know whether I have pronounced this correctly or not, but what after clicking on this button, what MobSF will gonna do, MobSF will gonna install the necessary tools, or you can say necessary configuration. It will gonna do the necessary configuration in my Android emulator. Okay, so suppose I'm clicking on this, and again I'll have to click on this MobSFy, and it will gonna take couple of seconds. Connecting to Android, yes. Reconnecting to Android device, okay. Android API level identified, version identified, then OS architecture, then copying Frida server. I already have Frida server installed in this emulator, but still what MobSF will gonna do, MobSF will gonna copy Frida servers in emulator. It will gonna again copy it. Okay, and once the Frida server has been copy pasted into the emulator, it will gonna install the MobSF root CA in the emulator, and then everything will gonna be completed. Correct. So I can see the message over here, successfully created MobSF dynamic analysis environment, MobSF agent and Frida server installed. Okay, so I'll have to simply close this, and now I'm gonna proceed with this AllSafe application. So for that, what I have to do, I have to simply click on dynamic analysis button. So I'm clicking it. See, if you can see over here, I got this message in yellow, warning message, which says failed to get activities, static analysis not completed for this app. Correct. I am not able to see any sort of activity option below this spawn button. So quickly what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go back, okay, and I'm gonna perform the static analysis first. Once the static analysis has been done, then I will proceed with the dynamic analysis. Okay, and I believe almost everyone are aware of how to perform the static analysis. I'm gonna click on static analyzer, correct, and then I have to drag and drop this APK over here. It will gonna take couple of minutes to complete the static analysis, and once the static analysis has been done, I'll be shown the analysis result. So for the moment I'm gonna pause the video. Once it is done, we will resume. Okay, so our static analysis has been done, correct? We got a lot of information over here. We got 4 activities, correct? So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna skip the analysis process of this this assessment. I mean, I'm gonna skip the analysis of static analysis activity, and I'm gonna now go to my dynamic analyzer, click on this. Okay, and I'm gonna again perform this MobSFy Android runtime. I'm gonna click on that again. Already I have done this activity, but still let's wait. It will gonna take again couple of seconds, and once it is done, we will now proceed with dynamic analysis. Okay, all done. Now I'm gonna click on this option over here directly. Now see, now what I'm gonna do, I will not click on this button, start dynamic analysis button, directly. Instead what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna scroll down a bit, and now I'm gonna click on this button, start dynamic analysis button. Why? Because this app available section, this will gonna show me the application's name whose static analysis has already been done, correct? And over here, these are the applications which are available in my emulator. Got it? So now I'm gonna click on this dynamic analysis button. I'm gonna wait for a couple of seconds again and let it load. See, it has been done completely. So as you can see, MobSF has identified couple of environment options, such as it has identified my emulator, API level, Android version, then it has installed MobSF root CA, and it has also started HTTP proxy on port number 1337. It has started ADB reverse TCP on port number 1337, correct? And then it removed the existing installation. I mean, it removed the pre-installed all safe vulnerable application, and it reinstalled the application again. And after doing all this thing, MobSF said that the testing environment is now ready, correct? So this is how our dynamic analysis window will gonna look like. Okay, we will get this show screen button. So what all are these options are, we will gonna discuss in a couple of minutes. Okay, so we get this show screen button. Once I click on the show screen, whatever is going on in the emulator over here, the same will gonna be reflected back in this mobile frame, which is present in the left side of the browser, this part, correct? So suppose I'm opening the phone application, after a couple of seconds it will gonna be displayed over here, correct? I'm gonna close this, and I'm gonna close this also, correct? Let me stop this screen for a moment. I also get couple of more options, such as I can remove the root CA which MobSF has installed. I can set as well as unset the HTTP and HTTPS proxy. I can perform SSL or TLS security assessment. I can check the exported activities, activity testers. I can get the dependencies which are available in the applications. I can take the screenshot. I can also see the current logcat. I mean, I can also see the logs of the application just by clicking on this logcat stream button. So suppose if I click on this, you can see that I got this message which says logcat streaming started, and on the new tab all the applications log will gonna be visible over here, correct? So suppose I start this application, you can see all these logs, right? And at the bottom of this log I will get a small button which says stop streaming. Okay, for the moment I'm gonna stop this streaming. All right, let me stop. Yes, so this is how the dynamic analysis screen will gonna look like. There are couple of things which we will gonna discuss now. Okay, so we have discussed all these blue buttons are, and yes, after all of my dynamic analysis activity completed, I can click on this generate report to get the report. We will gonna discuss this report part as well. And just beside this dynamic analyzer we do get the error option. So if there are any errors, then we will be displayed that error over here. All right, and yeah, so there are couple of default Frida scripts which MobSF will gonna load. Okay, suppose I am starting any of the activity over here. Okay, so there are a couple of activities and there are a couple of exported activities as well, correct? So suppose I start any of the AllSafe applications activity, then what MobSF will gonna do? MobSF will gonna by default inject this default Frida script into the application. Okay, and suppose if I select only this root detection bypass script and if I start any of the activity, then what my MobSF will gonna do? MobSF will only going to inject this root detection bypass script into the application, and it will not gonna load all these other applications. Why? Sorry, all these other scripts. Why it will not gonna load it? Because I haven't checked this script. Okay, so once I click on this check button, it will gonna load this script. If I click on this SSL pinning bypass script check, Frida will sorry, not Frida, MobSF will gonna load this Frida script into the application. Okay, similarly for all these options as well, if I click on capture string and start any of the activity, then at that point of time what MobSF will gonna do? MobSF will going to capture all the strings which are available in the application, the current application, AllSafe application. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I am simply going to start the suppose main activity. Okay, I have already clicked on SSL pinning bypass and root detection bypass script. Now what I have to do, I have to simply either I can click on this start activity button, or I can click on spawn and inject button. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this spawn and inject button, and what it will gonna do, after clicking on this button, the application will gonna restart, and if I scroll a little bit further down, I will get two another options which are shell access and Frida logs. Okay, so this shell access is nothing but the ADB access of my Android emulator. If I click on help, I will be presented with all the options which we can perform using ADB. Okay, and as for this Frida log, as you can see that whatever script I have loaded, which is SSL pinning bypass and root detection bypass script, all this information is presented in this Frida log. Okay, so this Frida log will gonna automatically refreshed after every 3 seconds. So what I have did, I have loaded this root detection bypass and SSL pinning bypass script, correct. Let's try to verify it. How we can verify it? This also application has this root detection bypass challenge, and since I have already loaded this root detection bypass script, I'm simply gonna click on this root check, and I can see that I am getting this congrats root is not detected message, correct. That means with the help of MobSF dynamic analysis process, I have successfully bypassed the root detection, correct. Now what if I close this application, manually restart it, manually open the application and go ahead and click on this root detection and click on this root check? I will be prompted with the message which will gonna say, sorry, your device is rooted, correct. Why? Because second time what I did, I didn't started the application from MobSF, I manually started the application. That's why this SSL pinning bypass and root detection bypass script was not loaded. Okay, apart from all this thing, there are a couple of more things which we can do, such as on the right side of the browser we do get these two extra options, such as Frida code editor, and there are couple of by default Frida scripts which comes pre-installed with MobSF. I should not say it as a pre-installed script, but once we clone the Frida, once we clone this MobSF repository into our system, it will gonna come with MobSF only. Okay, and if I have to check all these Frida scripts, what I have to do, I have to go to the folder where I have cloned the MobSF, then I have to click on again MobSF, then dynamic analyzer, then tools, then Frida scripts and Android. So we will see this many scripts available. So for auxiliary we do have this many options, correct, and for this auxiliary options, in this auxiliary folder we will get all the Frida scripts. Same for default, if you see this default option, we have this 5 different options available, and if I go ahead and click on this default folder, I will be displayed with 5 different Frida scripts, correct. As well as if I click on others, then in others what I will be shown, all these scripts which are available over here, all this will be present in this other folder, correct, such as app environment, then bypass ADB detection, it is also available over here. So all these scripts will gonna be visible over here. Okay, now one important thing which we have to notice is that see what we did couple of minutes ago, we have injected all this default script into the applications, correct. Now instead of using this default script, what we can do, we can load all these scripts and we can inject all these scripts into the application, into the Android application. Now how to do that? It is pretty simple. Suppose I am clicking on this crypto AES key. Okay, suppose I click on this, and now what I have to do, suppose I have to see what are the things which are written in this Frida script, crypto AES key Frida script, then I have to click on this load button, and over here in Frida code editor I will be displayed all the scripts content, correct. And also if I want, I can add or delete any of the functionality directly. Suppose I can add a comment over here, this is my Frida AES script, or suppose if I identified that this script is having some sort of syntax error or any other things, then I can also change that. Okay, now after clicking on this, what we have to do, we have to click on this spawn and inject. Okay, we don't have to click on this blue buttons, because if I click on this blue button, I will be prompted with a window which will gonna show me that what are the scripts which are already been injected into the application and what are the scripts which will going to be injected into the application. Correct. So since we are about to inject the AES encryption FRIDA script into the application, I will be shown that these are the script content which MobSF will gonna inject into the app. Okay, so never ever click on this blue button. Instead, you can either click on this inject button or you can click on this inject and spawn button. Okay, so we have, again I'm not gonna use any other activity, I'm gonna stick on the main activity and I'll click on spawn and inject. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. Okay, it has been injected. Did I got any log? Let's wait. And since this was AES key, I have to go on. There was one challenge regarding AES. Let me check. Which one was that? Weak cryptography. Yeah, this one. Suppose I am entering any of the detail over here, such as my name, my alias basically, Monal. If I click on encrypt, did I got any information over here? Yes, I do got this information, and this indicates that my FRIDA script has successfully been injected into the application. Okay, now one thing which we have to keep in mind, that sometimes we will gonna see the FRIDA log directly on the browser, and sometimes the FRIDA log will be displayed in the terminal as well, and sometimes it will either gonna be present on browser or either on terminal. Okay, so we have to make sure that we are keeping our eyes open and we are looking the browser's FRIDA log, which is this, and the terminal's log as well. Okay, if I click on hash, nope, nothing will gonna be displayed over here because we haven't injected the hashing FRIDA script, we have only injected the FRIDA AES script. Correct. Let's suppose I am entering over here test message, and if I go ahead and click on encrypt, so what this FRIDA script will gonna do, FRIDA script will going to decrypt this AES message, AES encryption, and it will gonna show me the decrypted message. Correct, which is this. What more we can do? Suppose I am going ahead and doing this. I mean, earlier on what I did, I loaded this default root detection bypass script. Correct. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna see whether we have this root detection script available over here or not. So no, by default FRIDA only provide me root detection bypass script as default. We don't get this in extra. But still, what we can do, we can simply add our root detection script over here and we can load that. That is also doable. Okay. We can click on this screenshot button, we can get all the dependencies of the applications. Okay, dependencies has been collected. Correct. And one more thing, what we can do now, we can also capture all the HTTP or HTTPS traffic originating from the application. We won't be able to manipulate or we won't be able to see all those HTTP traffic or HTTPS traffic yet. Okay, for the moment we will not gonna be able to see any of those traffic intercepting or any of those traffic displayed in this dynamic analysis process. For that, what we have to do, we have to first go ahead and use the application. Like we have to click on each and every functionality which will going to generate the HTTP or HTTPS traffic, and once that activity is done, we have to go ahead and click on this generate report, and from there onwards we will be able to use burp suite to intercept the traffic. I mean, directly we won't be able to intercept any of the application's traffic using this dynamic analysis process, during this dynamic analysis process. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and click on this certificate pinning, because this option has a functionality to send a HTTP request, HTTP and HTTPS request. Okay, so I have generated couple of HTTPS request, and in this dynamic analysis window I didn't saw any of the request yet. Even after I click on this SSL pinning bypass default script, and if I go ahead and start the application again, I still won't be able to see any of the HTTP traffic result over here, over on this window. Okay, I won't be able to see it at all. Let me do it. It was certificate pinning. Let me send it again. Yes, I have initiated a lot of requests. Now what I have to do, since I have generated the request, I can click on this generate report button, and after that I'll have to use burp suite to perform the web application based testing, perform the API endpoint based testing. Okay, but before doing that, let me go ahead and show you guys this SSL TLS security tester. Once I click on that, what MobSF will gonna check, MobSF will gonna check couple of things such as TLS misconfigurations. Okay, it will gonna check for certificate transparency test, and it will gonna check for certificate transparency bypass test. So these three tests or three check the MobSF dynamic analyzer will gonna perform, as well as if any of the traffic is passing on clear text, it will gonna show me that result also. So in order to perform this check, what we have to do, we have to simply click on this button, run TLS SSL test. Correct. So it will gonna take around 75 seconds to complete the activity, and it also says that while the application is running, please navigate through different activity or flow business logic, meaning we have to use the application in such a way that it should generate or initiate any sort of HTTP or HTTPS traffic, so that the MobSF can detect that traffic also, and it will gonna show me the result. Correct. So certificate pinning, I'm gonna send couple of HTTP HTTPS request, and now let's wait and wait and wait. And yeah, if you guys are wondering that why my AllSafe application keeps on reopening, so that is only happening because we have initiated this SSL test. Okay, TLS and SSL test. Correct. So we got this result. So there is no TLS misconfiguration has been found, but there was one issue, which was certificate transparency test. So this test, also application has failed. Apart from this, all this test has been passed. Correct. All these results are in green check, but this one is in red check. This one is the cross mark. Okay, no problem. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on generate report, Okay, and once we click on this generate report, we will be displayed with the analysis result, and from there on we can use burp suite to intercept all the application's traffic, and then after intercepting the traffic on burp suite, we can perform the web application based testing, or not the web application based testing, we can perform the vulnerability testing over there. So for that, what we have to do, we have to simply click on this button which says start HTTP tool. Okay, before proceeding with this, again let's see what are the different information we got. So these are the some common informations which we got from our dynamic analysis test. Okay, these were the URLs, these were the emails and XML file and other files. This information is not displayed over here because all this information will be visible in static analysis. Okay, our main focus now is to intercept all the HTTP or HTTPS based traffic which was initiated during our dynamic analysis activity. So for that, I'm going to click on this button, green button, and let's wait for it to open. And yeah, okay, so my application didn't generated or captured any of the request. This was the, what you can say, this was the testing environment. That's why there was not a lot of HTTP or HTTPS based traffic captured. But in the real world, if you use it on some legitimate application, then yes, definitely you will see a lot of HTTP or HTTPS based request over there. Okay, this one, what I did now, I have already performed a lot of dynamic analysis activity using MobSF. So I loaded this insecure bank application, and in that I can see that there are a couple of HTTP HTTPS based traffic which was captured during our dynamic analysis. Correct, these were the request. So now what I have to do, I have to click on this send to fuzzer, and I have to configure this fuzzer proxy. So basically it will be this, I have to mention this burp suite's proxy over here, so which is 8081, and I have to click on repeat request. So yes, I got this google.com request intercepted over here. I'll click on forward. Again Google was intercepted. Correct. Suppose I'm clicking on this, so this was the username and password. If I go ahead and click on this send to fuzzer and repeat request, okay, this was the, yeah, so sometimes it works, sometimes there has been some sort of delay observed while intercepting the request directly from MobSF, but it will work eventually. So yes, google.com's traffic, which was this one, google.com's traffic was intercepted in burp proxy. Yes, so this way we can intercept the MobSF dynamic analysis HTTP or HTTPS traffic on burp suite. Okay, so this is how we can perform our dynamic analysis using MobSF, and that's all.